On a sunny day in Cairo, there was a little boy named Yusuf. Yusuf loved history and archaeology very much, and he always dreamed of visiting the Grand Egyptian Museum, which had recently opened in Giza, near the Great Pyramids. Today is the day, Yusuf exclaimed excitedly as he got into the car with his family heading to the museum. When they arrived, Yusuf was amazed by the beauty of the massive building, which seemed to stand guard over the treasures of the past. He enjoyed looking at the magnificent structure and the shining towers of the museum. As Yusuf and his family entered the museum, he was astonished by the size of the place and the beauty of the exhibits. The first thing he saw was a huge statue of King Tutankhamun, which shone in a brilliant golden hue. Yusuf felt as if King Tut was looking at him with a hidden smile. "Do you know who this is?" Yusuf asked, pointing at the statue. "Of course," his father replied. "This is King Tutankhamun, whose tomb was discovered in 1922. He is one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in history." Yusuf was fascinated by everything he saw. He wandered among the exhibits, stopping at each artifact, enjoying every detail and engraving. He read the stories associated with each piece and imagined what life was like in the time of the pharaohs. While Yusuf was exploring one of the museum halls, he noticed something strange. Behind one of the exhibits, there was a small cage containing a golden key. Yusuf felt as if this key was calling to him. He decided to ask one of the attendants about the key. The attendant, a kind man with a white beard, surprised him by saying that this key was part of a rare collection believed to have been used to open the tombs of the poor king. It had a special ability to unlock ancient doors. "Can you tell us more about this key?" Yusuf asked curiously. The attendant replied, "Of course, but this story isn't written in books. It is said that this key can open doors to ancient worlds. And every time it is discovered, its true meaning emerges." At that moment, Yusuf felt a slight pressure around him as if the ground was shaking. Suddenly, he found himself in a completely different world, surrounded by bright lights and vibrant colors. In front of him was a huge door adorned with golden drawings. Yusuf slowly opened the door, finding himself in a vast hall filled with ancient treasures. Here he could see things he had never imagined: golden statues, decorated pottery, and sparkling gemstones. In the center of the hall, there was a massive book glowing with a radiant blue color. Yusuf approached the book and opened its pages. The book contained stories and wisdom from the time of the pharaohs, and secrets about how the pyramids and temples were built. Yusuf read some stories and learned a lot about the ancient kings of Egypt and their lives. Suddenly, Yusuf felt a gentle tremor and found himself back in the museum, in front of the huge statue of King Tutankhamun. He looked around and smiled when he saw the golden key in the cage, as if he now knew the secret of these treasures. Yusuf's family returned home, and he was excited to share what he had learned. It was not just a visit to the museum. It was a true adventure in time. Yusuf learned that the museum is not just a place to preserve treasures, but a gateway to ancient worlds that can teach us a lot about our past. The story teaches us that knowledge and history are not just information we read, but can be an adventure and discovery, giving life new meanings and opening doors to wonderful worlds.